Hello, how are we going today? I decided to straight away make, how can I position myself so you sort of see me at least? There you go. Hope you can hear me pretty well. So I thought I'd make a quick video because I feel like this trip is gonna be like so long, and it will be long, and before I know it, it's just gonna be a whole bunch of different stuff, and I'm not gonna remember half of the stuff that I was gonna tell you. So I'm gonna try and do my best to give you as much as I can, like on point, right when I think I need to tell you all this stuff, or right after I've done some things. So okay, today I drove through the desert, Nevada desert. Look, I think I've never really experienced desert very much. I've been to one in Emirates, in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, like in that area, but like we just went there, like we drove out for a little bit and we drove back in. So I guess I didn't really have a realistic expectation and understanding of what the desert was, even though this one is obviously not as crazy and remote as the Sahara Desert, right, in Africa. But this, I feel like there are different ways to do cycle touring. There's different ways, different kind of skills, almost like a science that you need to have and understand of like what you can actually do when you're doing these things, and you can be perfectly fine and happy and very experienced like I am in doing your coastal rides or some hilly rides on the coast of Australia or through New Zealand. But going to another country is like a whole big ball game, really. And I think it does take a lot of balls, it takes a lot of guts, it takes a lot of different things to be aware of and understand. Like, it's gonna cost you quite a bit of money, honestly. I always seem to slightly underestimate, but like in the beginning I wasn't really understanding how much the touring was going to cost me, even back in Australia, and then I had a better idea, and then now I thought like that going over here was not going to cost me as much, as like I'm going to still like budget and stuff like that now, just because there's some unforeseen obviously expenses, but that's fine. And changes obviously as well. So no, man, this video is about cycling across the desert, not cycling in another country. But so yeah, like obviously you gotta know and be comfortable in riding flats, loads and loads of flats, and some rolling hills, little wee hills. But at the same time, there's also like another area, right, of cycle touring where there is like these crazy massive hills which you get in Italy and France and Switzerland, and even here the Rocky Mountains. Like, by the sounds of things and with the way things are looking, there'll be one hell of mountains to climb and ride through. And the desert, obviously the desert, it's so different that you might be used to. Seriously, honestly, I feel like it is very doable to do it, especially this Nevada desert, the Los Angeles to Las Vegas ride. I think it's very doable. It's definitely, you definitely need to be quite prepared for it, because there are big stretches without so much as you are able to buy to get some water, right? Like, so you go like easy 160 k's, 100 miles without a place where you can get some water and some sort of food. So you gotta be prepared for that. It's hot, so don't go in hot seasons. Completely cut out June, July, August. Do not go and do this in September. Do not attempt it in September. I'd say better to do it closer to end of October or even November. Look into November doing this stuff. I'll definitely come back and do that ride. I just know that right now, with the knowledge and the experience that I have had, I didn't really have a good grasp on what the hell cycling through the desert really meant or was. Like, the longest that I have been without any kind of services was like that 80k that I went through in northern Queensland, like I talked about in my previous tour. And I also went through the desert road in New Zealand, but I think that is like 60 or 70 k's as well. So it's nothing compared to 160, and it was nowhere near this hot. Like this, it has been pretty hot. It's been over 100 Fahrenheit, 110 Fahrenheit, or it's been like 40, early 40s C, And when you're exercising that much and cycling, obviously you would have needed even more water than regularly. It's been a bit of a reality check, I think, for me. But I think it was also good to kind of understand what kind of different things, just have, I guess reality check is a good word for it, and just to have that understanding and idea of what's, I want to say right and wrong, but it's not right and wrong, it's more of just having a grasp of what it is. And it's not a bad thing, but I think it was reasonably smart to drive it for the first time, honestly. I'm definitely a lot more aware of what it's like. I didn't obviously physically do it on a bicycle, but I think next time when I'm lucky enough to do it, hopefully I will have a support car or someone who would be interested in doing this with me. Because yeah, it can get pretty hard, like, and it can get pretty lonely as well, and you need to have your own batteries and charge and things like that. You also got to consider how long you're willing to ride for. I think it's for 570 Ks in between Los Angeles and Las Vegas, and you can do the best you can and do it in two days, but I think it's a freaking mission, and don't try and kill yourself, because cycle touring should really just be, not just be about fun, but it should be fun no matter how hard you're working. And like, there's limits that you can push yourself towards, and those limits are fun, and sometimes there are limits which just unnecessary, like and it's not like giving up or whatever, it's just, yeah, just kind of understanding that why you do it. I think that's the biggest thing. You gotta know why you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, because if it's something that everyone does, and if it's something that is reasonably challenging or really quite challenging, you gotta know your why, because it's gonna get pretty challenging. For me personally, on this trip, I was gonna do it, but that was going to be a really beginning, a very first section of the trip that I'm planning to do, and I was only like budgeting 2 or 3 days max for that. And I feel like now, with what I have experienced and driving through it, I feel like that section would have taken me longer than 2 days. Definitely, it would have really worn me out and depleted me of a lot of my resources, just simply because it's not the best season. There's like this crazy heat wave happening right now as well, and you also got to remember about the bicycle, and like how the air in your tires expands so they can like pop when it's really, really hot, and the ground can also like affect your tires and melt them in a way, and it's just like, and they can get sliced up. And other hand though, I think it is beautiful scenery. I think it's beautiful. The bike mechanic I was talking to about this, who strongly suggested that I didn't ride it this time, that I took a car and ridden it another time. She was like, oh, and it's just the ugliest ride ever. Well, I disagree on that fact, because I actually found it pretty beautiful, and I saw some amazing, stunning views. And I feel like nature is always beautiful, because there's like all these different things that you see in the... It's just different to what I'm used to, I guess, and to me that was beautiful. And I took a few shots, and you'll see them through my vlogs and on my Instagram and things like that, so they'll be pretty cool. Really be aware of water going through the desert, especially not being able to refill it. 1, 2, have a support car. Like, seriously, have a support car if you can, if you're lucky enough, and have someone, your partner, your parent or your friend or whatever, brother or sister, like, if there's someone in this world that loves you enough to do something like this with you, like, seriously cherish them. And be completely and absolutely grateful, and take them on this trip with you, because I feel like some things together we're stronger, right? Like, and it doesn't mean that you're not a strong person, if you know what I mean. It just means that sometimes things are good to be done with someone. Shit. But anyway, yeah, so it would have been like a big mission. And I'm really like glad that I listened. So I also had to completely like change my route, but again, this is not what this video is about. This video is about cycling through the desert. So if you want to cycle through the desert, I recommend doing it in colder months. So like November, obviously not winter and stuff, but like colder months, maybe even winter. I don't know, research if you can do it in winter. If you want to do it in winter, what's the temperature like in there. Have plenty of water. Budget reasonable amount of days, like 4. I'd say 4 is reasonable. It's 570 Ks, something like that, or like 540 Ks. And doing that in 2 days is just crazy, especially like the amount, I think, the toll that would have had on the body. So I think 4 days would be a lot more reasonable, and there'll be, you know, accommodation and stuff like that. That's number 2. Number 3, be very aware that you're not going to have amenities, not going to have, you know, your anything, petrol station and whatever on the way. There are a few spots where you can definitely buy things, but there are also sections like stretches where there is really not very much, and you won't be able, like think about your accommodation before you do this. Think like and really work out your miles. Think about the water and food supply as well. And for the love of God, like, find maybe a support car. I feel like it's not cheating. I feel like it's sometimes being realistic when you don't have experience and things like that. And that's okay. Because then you kind of have more of a reality check, and you understand what these things are and what they can take. I think it's an awesome, excellent, epic achievement that can be done by a lot of people who really want to do it. But in order to have a much better experience during it and while you're doing it, I reckon you should really think about having a support car, plenty of food and water, plan out your stops through the desert. I'm not saying do every single stop for every single city through entire freaking whatever, however many 1,000 Ks tour you want to take, but through the desert part, try as much as you can to plan it out in terms of accommodation. Budget more days than you think you will need. Be aware that there is not going to be like a place where you can recharge your phone or whatever. I think maybe there'll be like a day where the whole day you might need to go. And yeah, that's like really nothing compared to the desert we have in Australia. Those are like some long stretches. So I'm definitely really considering that now from this experience. I feel like every experience teaches us something, right? And we take something out of it, and we're given it for a reason. So it's really kind of, I'm kind of understanding some things a little bit better now. Anyway, so those are my tips for crossing from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, or back Las Vegas to Los Angeles. I will be back to do this trip, like this specific route, chunk of the trip, because I think it'll be really cool to do it, to complete it. Have a support car, plenty of food and water. Make sure your bike isn't too heavy, which is another thing, having a support car so you can offload like a chunk of your gear at that car and just have your minimal requirements with you. And yeah, budget enough days. Don't try and rush yourself through it, because it can be different kind of weather, really. It can be really hot, it can be windy, it could be stormy. I wasn't in the Indie Pack last year, but I am just, yeah, so much more respect for those people who finished and who gone through the desert. We'll see how my planning is going for the Perth to Adelaide next year. We'll see about that. We'll think about that a little bit more. Hey, all right. Thanks for watching. Lots of love to you guys. Lots of appreciation for every single comment and every single, you know, vibe that I get from you. Thank you so much. I hope this video was helpful to you. And remember to stay true to your passion and stay true to who you are. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't judge yourself when sometimes you're not 100% where you think you should be. Listen to yourself, listen to your body. It knows best. and listen to your inner self as well. Stay true to yourself. Alright, thanks for watching. Happy cycling. Bye.